Welcome to the Node.js Next 10 meeting for June 12th, 2024. We will follow our standard agenda, which was number 277, was captured in issue number 277 in the repo. I will paste the link in for people to add themselves to the, where's the chat? Into the minutes, those attendees. Okay, I guess to start, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay, so let's go into the issues. The first one is number 273. That's the funding deep dive. That's actually set up for tomorrow from 11 o'clock to 1 p.m. Eastern. And so, there's been, I think, a few issues opened in the repo that have been, there's been some discussion going around all related to funding and funding platforms and stuff like that. So I think this is a good place to get people interested together and have a chat to see, if we can come up with any sort of consensus or sort of next steps in terms of figuring out what, the project may want or not want to do specifically and document that. Anybody want to add anything on that one before we move on? Okay, the next one is brainstorm next deep dive topics. I think that one actually we have the next topic. So I think Marco, you've opened an issue for that one, right?
Yes.
So is that the number 271?
Or let's see.
Or is there a different one? I'm just thinking we should have that one tagged versus this
71. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I think what I'd recommend is let's tag that one for the agenda. And then we can take the tag off of the brainstorm, basically say, we've completed the current brainstorming, and we can create a new issue like that once we've basically finished going through the next two. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. I think unless somebody has objections, I think this could be the next topic, and we add this one to the agenda and start brainstorming and move on to it.
Sounds good. Anything on that one that you think we should chat about this week?
I mean, one topic that I would try to stay on this more generically. So I guess there is a bit of frustration because there are some behaviors that do not violate code of conduct, but they make the environment for collaborators a bit harder. So trying to try to gather the feedback from collaborators on what are these behaviors that make the environment harder, and how we can prevent those from happening, even though if they are not kind of conduct violations, but they're annoying. So this is something that would be interesting to add to the topic.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, that's a very good point.
Yeah, let's capture it in the agenda, and I will also try to add it to the issue.
Okay, I definitely think the top level idea you've got there is let's go out to a survey, I could easily see like exactly what you just talked about being good parts of a survey. Or, are there behaviors of other maintainers that make you less or more likely to contribute to the project, right? Like, I don't know exactly what, but like that kind of question will be really interesting to know. Okay, because like I think it'd be good to like, it's almost like we could start working on a set of questions, right? Or is it like, I think initially you wanted to do some more research, just kind of thinking
Yeah,
of the concrete next
uh,
step.
yeah. I wanted to gather some issue in terms of data, but I don't think I will have the bandwidth to actually do that. So I think we can move on anyways. But yeah, it would be actually very interesting to gather like stuff from GitHub.
Okay, so maybe it's the concrete next step is let's start working on the list of questions for the collaborators survey. And then,
Yes.
because some of these, like, what's the average lifespan? That I think we can actually gather through the survey, right? Like, how long have you been contributing?
Yeah.
How often are you members of working groups and so forth? Ulysses, you have your hand up?
Oh yeah, regarding the data, I have to collect a lot of data from GitHub for my employer. So we use a tool called Qualdron from Vitergia, which basically does all the chaos metrics for the Linux Foundation, basically. So you just pull GitHub and you bring all the information. So if we don't have another thing for preparing the meeting, I can try to bring that report for us because I already know how to do it, and it's take me just a couple of minutes, and you get a lot of info about the project in terms of activity, pull requests, things like that. I mean, you have like a lot of data from the GitHub activity, more or less, in terms of pull requests opens and things like that. Not super specific to, but you detect some boost factors and stuff like that. So it might be useful, maybe not. So as something easy and is a public dashboard and information is public, I can work on it and provide you a link soon.
Yeah, that sounds good. You said it's the chaos tool, or was it something else?
Yeah, the name is
Yeah.
Qualdron. Well, let
Okay.
me, yeah, and yeah, I will include the links in the notes.
Yeah, if you just
So
want to add the link in there,
yeah,
that
I will.
sounds good. I think there's also, if I look in the TSC repo, there's a proposal to enable LFX insights,
Yeah,
which I
that's
think
another
but
option.
like if you've got a tool, I think running it, if you can easily run it and provide some links, the more info, the better,
Yep.
right? So like that would be fantastic.
Yeah, the Linux Foundation tool is currently in beta. I'm using it to track it also, but it has some bugs sometimes. And the other one is like more complete, so we can use both easily.
Yeah. No, because certainly I know all these things have some sort of weaknesses and strengths. So yeah, having a combination of both would be good. Okay, so it sounds like we're kind of agreed. Let's start working on the questions to the survey, and at the same time, this data will come in, and we can sort of look at that data and ask, see if it suggests we should ask different questions or whatever, or fills in, and maybe it answers some of the questions and stuff like that. Okay, that sounds good. Anything more we should chat about before we move on that? Okay, so the next one, discuss initial text for ambassador program. The PR is open, and I am, there's enough approvals, I think, for it to land. I think I need to rebase it because Windows, the compile job keeps failing, and I seem to remember something with that. And I've restarted, it doesn't work, so I'm going to try rebasing it. Hopefully that'll fix it. Otherwise, I don't think, like, the Windows compile is not affected by a text change, so it may be okay to land anyway.
Yeah, I guess
Try
it
to do
has
that.
been disabled the CI because it's broken.
Right, so I'm hoping a rebase will just then run without it or something. We'll see. Okay, and then once that lands, I guess, sorry, can't quite land. Then hopefully, I'm gonna say rebase, hopefully to get to green, hope to get green. We actually need to update some of our tooling before it can land. I'll put that in tooling. Update before. No, sorry, that's a different one. To green and then land. Okay, so yeah, hopefully get it to green. Next steps from the advocacy deep dive. I think that's where we can. We talked about the ambassador program, so I'm now looking at the issue itself to see like if we figure that's moving forward. Is there anything else that we want to sort of take as an action out of that one? I guess the corporate node usage stories and studies was the next. There's messaging around the governments of the scope of the project. I think that one we could probably drive by adding some of that into like the messages for the ambassador program. But the corporate Node.js usage stories and studies, that's probably of a different issue. So maybe we should pull that one out and make that an issue. That makes sense. Yes, no.
Like I think we can move on this one.
Yeah, like you mean get started on that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so I'm gonna create an issue titled that. From, and I'm gonna say from the ad. So we do have some time, so I guess it would be like if on that one, but what was here, I'll paste in the chat in case you're not looking at it right now. This is what was not nicely formatted, but that's what was in the ideas that we have been brainstormed.
I guess I would like to probably since Amal is not very active, we can incorporate this into the brainstorming, so that we don't since we don't have anyone leading this initiative, we can just incorporate it and discuss about it during the deep dive and see if someone is interested or if it's something that makes sense or doesn't make sense at all, and recalibrate from that probably.
But this doesn't really fit into the funding side of the deep dive, right? Like this was more like, in the advocacy, I think the idea was that like if we could I think that it was like ideally we'd see once a month some blog post that's like, hey, we're using Node in this way, right? Like, it could be like Node source, we use Node internally to do XYZ, or it could be for me, like Red Hat, this is how we use Node to do X or Y, right? And like just having those go out on a regular basis would be useful, right?
Yeah, it sounds to me quite similar to. Okay, so the same way we do for the ambassador program, same way we have planned where we receive the proposal for the blog post, and then who wants to review it. But I think this one needs more strict review than the ambassador because I don't know.
Yeah, I would
Corporate.
agree. It's kind of like it would just be like, hey, here's the list of people can submit their blog post to say like, hey, we're going to choose one of these to sort of maybe promote as a corporate usage story for the month, right? And it might be something where we could like take abstracts. Sort of depends. It's like, do we want to, and again, I guess it comes back to like how much work, right? Like you could take abstracts and say like, this is the proposal. Okay, now we're going to write up. If you say yes, then we're going to write it up. Or it's like, hey, I already wrote it up and we're just going to help promote it kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Mm. Like the whole idea, it makes sense to me. I would probably want to discuss this after like the deep dive. I don't know. I feel like I want to see how the ambassador program goes and like get back on this one.
Yeah, we could leave this one as the other thing that might be nice is to try and get some feedback on like how many people would be interested in participating, right? Like,
Yeah.
are there people who are going to be like, yeah, I'd be willing to talk about how are the companies using Node.js, right, or not? If the answer is like there aren't any, then it doesn't necessarily make much sense. But okay, yeah, I'm happy to like leave it on. We'll tag it for the agenda, so we'll talk about it like in the next one, which will follow the next deep dive and so forth.
Okay.
Oops, I managed to create a new label instead of, that's not good. Why? That's weird. Sorry, I'm not being able to find the next 10 agenda. No, maybe that is the right okay. Okay, I've got it on there. Okay, so back to okay, the next one is corporate support and contribution. I think really we can defer that till after any future discussion till after the deep dive tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last one is create communication channel, JS and newsletter periodicals. I don't know if there's anything we want to discuss or chat about on that one this week.
Didn't do we have a RSS feed?
Yep.
So isn't that a communication channel? Like a way to propagate communication and people like read that allows people and newsletter periodicals to read from that feed.
Yeah, so the question, I guess your question is maybe like, are we done?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just a matter of creating and publishing the content rather than having the communication channel itself.
Yeah, like we could still do stuff around encouraging teams to publish the content, right? Like, so you're right, the channel is probably there. It's a matter of trying to encourage project teams or the project to contribute to it. So I don't know if you're suggesting like we should create a new issue or we should like, you know,
So
close this
if
one or
yeah, if the like if the issue was about finding a way to spread like information, I think we have it. We have the feed. We like if the like the real problem, in my opinion, is to incentivize people to create content.
right. Okay. So
I think we can close this. This one is also quite old. Let's see. 2022. So, yeah, I mean, the proposal is to have weekly newsletters and etc. I think, like, unless we want to focus on this one, but I guess like this is another problem to have collaborators producing content on top of what they already do. So like we have the mean of transportation, we have the ambassadors, we can link the two and create like ask to create a newsletter or like incorporate the content created by ambassadors into a newsletter. So I think we can close this one and
okay, yeah, I think we can save the content and then if we want to open another issue in terms of encouraging content, we can do that, but maybe we wait till see how like the ambassador program pans out on that front. Does that make sense to everybody?
yeah.
Okay. I will do that, and then that will drop off the agenda. So that takes us to the end of the agenda. Are there any other topics or things that we should chat about this week?
If you agree and we have time, we can go ahead to finish the review of
I think we should do that like off camera. So
okay.
So maybe like if the like that's what I was going to plan to do. If we've got a half an hour back, I'll then do I think if we each just do a read through and then say, yep, looks good, then we can pass it on. So I don't know if we need to stay on together to do that or not, but maybe if we each use the time and then in the chat we can say, yeah, look through, no issues. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for everybody who watched and everybody, of course, attending. We'll see everybody hopefully for the deep dive tomorrow and in GitHub and next time. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Bye.